Well, you guys are gonna laugh at me. We'll play some music to get you going. It was funny because I didn't hit start stream, so I was just like listening to music, and then no one replied. But that would give me some time to do what I need to do. Anyways, music will hit. We'll let it come in a little bit, and then we'll start. Alright, now we're ready. Yeah, I started the stream. I was just kind of doing my thing, talked a little bit, and then I realized you guys weren't there. Funny, man. Anyways, let's turn down the music. Welcome to Denoted. I hope you guys are doing very well. It's a day on the East Coast. I already posted Zigzag's music in chat, so feel free to I clicked the wrong one. Feel free to click any of those links and what this one? Yeah, I clicked the wrong one. I've been editing it. Oh, not editing, but trying to make it look all pretty. But anyways, welcome to Denoted. We're going to be doing Xros Love. We're going to talk about Xros 1 through 4 and why I don't have the 5th one. Like I said, Zigzag music is in the comments, and feel free to always check them out, give them a subscribe. Don't forget to do the ELR mix along, which I'm going to post in the live chat now if you're watching replay. As you can see on the screen, it's gummy, chewy taffy. You have, what, 5 days left? What is left? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days left. So almost a week to put in your recipe. So go ahead and do that. You have the chance to randomly win either BCF, noms, or Flavor Craver. Random selection or random winner will be gifted that. And yeah, don't forget to go to our Facebook, which is in the pinned comment, and give us a follow. Yeah, and you can see everything there. I'm confused on why There it is. Good. So yeah, you can give us a check out there, as well as if you want to, you can go to Discord. And once again, it's in the pinned comment, and you can check out our beautiful, wrong one, Discord. That has the events, a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot of things that you can talk about here. You know, DTV, DIY, arts, everything. And then last but not least, if you like what you see, you can subscribe to my Patreon. Shout out to Hippie and all the others that have donated in the past. I do appreciate it. And yeah, the even a little bit amount helps when bills start coming around. Yeah, and shameless promotion for TMA next week. We're doing strawberry. It's the second. Did I put the? No, it should be strawberry. What the title's messed up. The title's messed up. It's strawberry this week. I just had to change it if I remember correctly. No, it is watermelon. So I just put the wrong picture in there, which can easily be done live. So you just go here. Change. Yes, we need the watermelon. Thank you. And give that a save. There we go. Things happen. What do you guys think? I'm gonna be completely organized? It's a one-man show, my friends. One-man show, and apparently my internet's saying, hey, screw you. So anyways, TMA, once everything starts to work, there we go, is going to be watermelon. Alright, so now I'm worried, Linda, if you can, make sure, holy crap, Akon's city's almost done. I never thought I would see that. Let's make sure, I know we're taking a while. So this one was 44, 44. Okay, 43, 44. Where's 41's? Wait. Xros. Did I skip 40? Oh, God. Or is 40 all the way down here? Yeah, 40's here. Okay, yeah. The switch around. Thanks, Linda. Thanks. But yeah, that's coming up. It will update the thumbnail probably right now. Eventually. There you go. Yay. You get to learn. Anyways, that's what's coming up on this channel. I think that's it for shameless promotions. We don't need ELR. So I gotta be super duper careful with what links I show. So what I'm gonna do is just try to, you know what? I know how to get rid of it. Whoopsie daisy, now you can't see me. Now you can't see me. Alright. So I'm going to go to not a website. This is just going to be pictures that are not a website whatsoever and has no association with anything. In fact, it's just artistic interpretation, this video. Yeah. So everything you're about to see is not real. Okay? Okay, everything here doesn't exist that you're about to watch on this stream, okay? You get what I'm saying? Okay. Then we're on the same page. Okay, guys. Now that we're on the same page, we can go, what is that? I don't know what that is. What is, this is such a artsy site, you know? So there is, no, thank you. So there is a bunch of different Xroses, or Xros, what would you call them? I don't know. Nonetheless, there we go. You can see it, right? Perfect. So let's go to products. We're Podmon. I just want the Xros series. Perfect. It's all going to be here. We're not going to compare them or anything. So where is the OG, which is probably, yeah, they might not. Here it is. So the first one I ever got was the Xros 1 Nano. If I remember correct, by the way, I might get some things incorrect. They claim 1000 mAh or mAh. with my comparisons, I think it's around 800. Adjustable airflow, type C charging, battery, indicator right by the vapor rest. So, oh, 3D exhibit. Yeah, this is the one I had. So as you can see, these little scrapey things right here, absolutely delightful to scrape. Oh, it's fun. That's the best thing about the Xros. Now, I'm not going to talk much good about it because it's definitely been outclassed. Obviously, it's bigger airflows. But if you wanted to, you can use this one. It's super duper cheap when you find them. You know, usually they're around 10 bucks or less. And they're just as good. I really think that, I know it's a simple thing, but that scratchy edge just makes it really fidget pro. And I absolutely just love playing with that thing. Wickety, giggity. It also has the lanyard, which you'll never hear me mention. I don't use lanyards. Even if I was in a situation where I'd much rather have it on my pocket, in my pocket, versus like hitting me in the head and all that. No, I call it Xros. It's technically cross, but I call it Xros. And I'm not going to call it whatever you want. I'm calling it Xros. Be grateful that I don't call it Xros. It's supposed to be cross. I'm never going to call it cross. If you want it to be cross, put a cross. Cross. You know, you could spell it Kraus. There's many ways you could have spelled cross, but you spelled Xros. That's Xros. Sorry, I don't make the rules, but that's what it is. So this little thing is good. I think it's probably the tougher out of the bunch. It's you know, the same weight as the other Xros, but I really do like it. Now, what's cool about this is you kind of just subjectively pick whichever one you like the best, because they're interchangeable all the way through. So like, you don't need the newest one. So I just use them until the battery goes. They don't break, but eventually a battery just needs a charge more often. All of them last the entire day for, you know, regular use. I'm talking about like, you know, high volume use. But, you know, after like a year of using them, you can see the batteries start to give you a half day. Nonetheless, I really like this one. It is definitely obsolete now and the oldest of the bunch. But like I said, this is all, you know, subjective because it's purely, literally just different forms. You can use any of the pods. That's where, when we get done with it, that's going to be the most important thing. So not much to say about it. You know, it was a great introduction. What really made them shine was the pods. Now, I've never had any of the minis. The minis are just no buttons. Xros sticks. That's all they are. They have no airflow, no buttons, just inhale. And if I'm correct, they have 800, a little bit less mAh, or I think they're the same, honestly. Let's check. They should, no, 800. Okay, I was right. These are the 800 ones. So the Nano had a little bit more. I had no issue with this one. I had it not too long. I actually had it for about, I think like 6 months in my rotation. I bought like the 3 at the same time. And eventually it dropped, broke, never worked again. Nothing was damaged, like nothing shape-wise or integrity-wise, whatever was damaged. It just RIP. But you have adjustable airflow. The thing that I don't like is when the buttons, and why I don't like any of the sticks, and why I won't like the new ones that we'll talk about, is because these sticks can go off. Now, it's not as common with the 3 stick, but the first one, I had it go off a lot, where you would hear it. Yeah, at least you hear it. You hear it pop, 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 a little popping. Yeah, and I had it off. It wasn't like, you know, something like that. Yeah. I think you guys are hot because you get into the flavor categories and deep dive into the brands and almost every flavor on the list. Well, I hope people like it. I mean, we're definitely not like where we were with the assistance of a large channel. But if we're talking about ratios, we're, you know, compared to a 60,000 subs channel to a 600, and I'm averaging 5 to 10 viewers, then I think that's about the same. When we did Denoted, it would be about 20 to 40. So I just hope it's useful. I like doing it, but once I feel I'm not useful, I'll just evaporate. This channel is more to showcase Sam and Linda, because what I'm doing is I honestly think people don't care anymore except for new people. Whereas I think TMA and whatever the new show will be, if it's probably TMA too, I think that's a little bit more interactive and exciting for new and old mixers. Whereas what I'm doing is just for new mixers, and kind of, I guess, just for new mixers. I don't know. Maybe some old mixers watch my show. I highly doubt it, but I don't know. I get depressed a lot, just in general. I don't know. You try to do your part in the earth, you know? No matter what you do, it's never enough, but I like what I do, and that's all that matters. So this one, another boring one, you know, nothing. It broke like 6 months, so I was kind of sad about that. The Xros 2s, I didn't. I skipped and got the Xros 3. Now, as I said, these do go off. What was a big change was the airflow here. I mean, I could show you, couldn't I? I mean, it won't be as good. I can do a little shimmy here. Alright, so terrible, but Type-C's on the bottom. It's not going to be like the best quality video. I have it cheap, but you'll get the gist. The button right there is a little bit more recessed than the other one, which I like. It also ergonomically felt a little bit like, I don't know, a little bit smoother around the edges. I don't know if that's fact, because it's been so long since I had the OG stick. Now, what I have had a problem with this one is one thing, it doesn't go off as much. It's hard to see, but which is good. It's very recessed compared to the other one, but it has gone off. That is very important, I think, to people that are mobile, doing mobile work. You know what I mean? Here, if you're just hanging out at home, then so be it. But in this instance, I don't want it going off in my pocket. Another adjustment, which will be harder to see, we can go to the 3D if it gets, stop looking at me. But the 3 holes right here, I really need a new webcam. I wish everything wasn't like overpriced. We'll go to the 3D, but they went from 3 holes, giggity. Let me make sure that's blocked. Good. They went from 3 holes to, come on, let me spin it, bro. Oh, you want me to see? To 2. Now, I don't remember a difference because I never had them side by side, so I couldn't compare them just off memory. But I felt like there was a little bit less airflow in the 3. However, I have loved this, but the problem with all Vaporesos, which is I've found, at least for the Xros series, is it started to get the bad battery. That might be due to my fault. I am a little bit of a premature charger, if you know what I mean. I just want to make sure I'm ready to go, you know what I mean? So this one's on the up and up. I can pretty much only use it for a VOOP, a walk, a drive, and that's it. You can't take it out and about. You're not doing any traveling with it, let's say. Yeah, I think it's important information, but sometimes it's like, am I given not the right information, but am I even good at giving information? I don't know. You know what I mean? But I've loved this guy. This guy has done work. Now, I will say there isn't a lot of scratches on this guy. Compared to the nanos and all that, they get scratched up pretty big. But I have dropped this a lot. to the point where it is pretty hard. I got a dud pod here. Pretty hard. Okay, pretty hard for the 0.7s to get in there. Apparently a 0.6 just glides in like a fucking fresh baby, but you know what I mean? Just a little like that, but geez, man. I've had problems with the 0.7s fitting in this. They kind of have to be forced, a little shimmy, you know what I'm saying? So there has been some common problems, but it's been a year and a half, probably longer. It's been dropped on the concrete probably 20 times, and the fact that it doesn't have too much chips is pretty impressive to me. So then, I'm just gonna spoiler, this is my favorite. Now, in order to tell you why it's my favorite, I'm gonna skip it, okay? And we'll be back, don't worry, we'll be back. So, we'll go quick over this one. The Xros Pro, I only use, I don't want you, I want you, thank you, babe. The Xros Pro, my friend had it, I used it for, a little bit, like 10-20 minutes. Not too bad. My problem with it was the 0.4 coils were great. But when you use the other coils in it, because like I said, they're interchangeable. When you use the new coils in there, I felt like you were burning the coils. They were too hot. I know, it changes and you can adjust. I get that. Fancy, all right? But when I put my pod in there, he had the 0.4, the one meant for it, and I put my 0.7 in there. And I was just kind of, going back and forth between the pods, and it burned out my pod. That could have been me, over podding, overuse, I don't know. But that was my experience with it. As well as I don't want, the reason why I love the Xros 3 and prior is there's nothing to it. You don't have any worry of this going off in your pocket unless you're in a hurricane or a tornado or someone has a freaking wind machine in your pocket. You're gonna be fine. So I didn't like that aspect. It was a little bit bulkier too. It just was like, all right, this is a home or an office pod, not on the go. So then not because of that, I tried it when I was waiting for this, and then I kind of got disappointed. Now this one is actually to put in perspective how bad this pod is, in my opinion, I now have it as a emergency pod. Yeah, that's it. It's in a location where if I forget something, if my device were to break, I have it and it's good to go. There's a couple problems with this. They claim there's 1200, 1350 mach compared to the 1000 in the nanos and all that. I'm calling BS. Now, it probably has the 1350, but because of that screen, the screen ruins it. I can't get a full day out of this with the 0.7, with even a 0.8. I had the pods where, I put in these pods where it doesn't give you, if I'm correct, it doesn't have adjustable wattage. And so it's just giving me what I'm supposed to get. And it has like the normal, the powerful, yay, all that. I didn't notice a drastic difference. I think it's, reaction time is, what happens, but like, you're not going to notice that, unless you're like, put it on eco. So I tried it several times on eco, normal, all that. Even in eco for me, I wasn't getting full days. And I was like, how am I not getting full days? So I just couldn't use it. It's not reliable. And then like, I'll use it in a home. I'll use it in the office. It's not good as that. It's so like bulky that it kind of, you just don't want to just sit it down. It's heavy. It tilts over more. As well as I haven't dropped it yet. I'm afraid to drop it. The screen, as you can see, it's kind of, it won't let me see it, but here you can see it's kind of curved. So the screen comes out, if that makes sense. It's like right there. So I just have a fear you drop it. Also, I wasn't impressed. We'll go coil by coil, but I wasn't impressed with the coils for any of the newer series. They're okay, they're good, but they're not Vaporesso standards. So I was super disappointed. I used it at home for a couple weeks, and then I just said, you know what? It has the button on the side, which is really annoying because sometimes it doesn't click. The button is recessed, which makes it not, turn on in your pocket. But then you end up having it's a hard time clicking it. As well as, if I'm correct, I wish they had a 3D. I'm trying to remember where the airflow is. If I remember correctly, I blocked the airflow. Yeah. There? No. It's on the other side. Where is the airflow? I'm trying to remember. Spin around, buddy. Why aren't you showing the airflow? That's weird that they always talk about adjustable airflow. Here it is. There's the adjustable airflow. All right? So it's on the side. Now, with how small the Xros Nano is, you can see that when you hold it, it's pretty easy. Okay, it's pretty easy to hold it in multiple different ways, multiple different angles, and you can even do something like this, But you got to be careful, because if you go a little too close, you will block it. But in general, when you go to grab it with how light it is, you typically have one. You're not going like this. With the Nano, the Nano 4, the one that we're talking about right now, as you can see, it's on the side, and since it's bulkier, your hands end up doing a little bit of this typically, where they kind of grasp it, and you end up blocking that airflow off regularly or touching the power button, which is annoying. Once again, these are all nitpicking. I think if you got, the average person, they'd be very happy. But, after trying all these Xros, I had a certain standard, I guess, that I was holding them to. And anything after Xros 3, I don't think is great. Here's the Xros Cube. I don't even know where it is. This one I've had to retire. So sometimes I don't know what happens, but I'm assuming something gets in the airflow after long-term use and gets in the system. I don't know what happens, but it happened to this Xros, which I've had for a very long time. I mean, it is beat up. Beat the hell crap. I know you can't see it, but it's pretty bad. Chipped, sides are coming off. And the Cube in this Xros 3 Nano had the same problem, where somehow every time I would do it, it would start to burn the coil, similar to the Pro. And then what would happen is I would be like, oh, it's just an old coil, let me change it. And I go change it, it burned through that. And I was like, well, fuck that, I'm not trying to burn it. So the reason why I got the Cube, and it was an absolute delight, I didn't know they had these little bedazzled ones now. The reason why I like this is because every now and then I would block, my finger. And this one, which makes it really cool, is the airflow is right here on the bottom. So you can literally, fist this mofo, and you'll be fine. As well as it's super small. I mean, it's so tiny. It is a little blocky compared, Nano's form is definitely the best. But it was really cool. I did you could always see the battery life. I love it. It's probably my favorite besides the Nano. If I'm correct, it has 800 mAh. Where's the mAh? 900. So that's not that bad for how small it is. I did enjoy it until it started doing that problem. So I've retired it. But form-wise, I really like this one. The only problem is the lip here. So when you hit it, sometimes you go a little too deep and you kiss the edge, you know what I'm saying? And with this, you can't, because your nose or like your lips end up getting into this top part right here. I don't know if you can see the arrow or the mouse. Can I 3D exhibit? So yeah, when you go to inhale right here, you're kind of blocked off. Whereas here you can fucking eat the whole thing, you'd be fine. So that was my biggest cons with those with that one, as well as it started burning the coils, which sucks. But they're dirt cheap. I got it for like $8. Let's see how the vote's going. 50% say 4 to 8. 33 say after 8:30. We'll see. I love how not one person said the time that I do. Not one. That's what it's looking. The problem with evening is, you know, if I'm off, I'm gonna be hanging with my data. So anyways, we talked about the Xros, and then now, yeah, they have like iMate, they have all these newer ones, Xros 5. Because of the screen that I don't want, I didn't get the Xros 5. And then the Mini, if you take a look here, the Mini, I was like, well, if they do the Mini and then have adjustable airflow, that'd be all right. You want to load, bro? Like, it's a 1997 3D image, and you really need to. Okay, thank you. What is this? I did not do that. It does have adjustable airflow right there. Okay, so I guess the Xros Mini is now the new Xros. How much mod does it have? 1500. Okay, well guys, I just purchased my new Xros. So this one, wait, that better not been a screen. I don't want a screen. There better be no screen, right? I started no screen. Okay, it's not hidden, right? Don't hide that on me. Although hidden screens, there was one, I think it was from eLeaf, oh, it's amazing. All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna get that one because, see, but I keep there. Okay, that's the other one. I don't want the screen. All right, if I want the screen, I'm getting a mod. Okay. So, but this one looks good. I'll probably get it once the prices go down. You honestly don't need to buy these off the jump because they're all the same coils, and then the coils are interchangeable. So you really just are buying a device for a new coil. And if you want to try that coil and it's compatible and it's not like the Xros Pro kind of thing, you can just buy the pack of coils and then throw it in your Xros one. So you don't have to go too crazy. And then, so this is going to be the next one. The Mini is what I'm going to get. The reasons why I told you, you know, with pods, you want to avoid as much technology as possible. Screens, you know, lights, all that stuff. You want the most minimum as possible, because it's going to break. You guys understand that these are called pods, but they really should be called yearly, bi-yearly disposable. You know what I mean? They don't last forever. I mean, props to you. I don't know what you're doing with them, but you drop them, you use them, the batteries go, things happen. That's life. They cost like $15, so not that bad. Here's the best one. In my opinion, it's the best one. I mean, it's just old reliable. It's light. I think it's the lightest of the bunch. I don't know. They're so minuscule and light that it's hard to tell, but I really like it. Even the colors, there's so much more colors than there is for the other. If you could show me the colors. I love how like they have like 47 colors and they're not showcasing the colors. Or did I skip it? Everything keeps moving. All right. Highlight. Xros 3. 10 colors. Here we go. Well, that's cool. I'm doing that. That's pretty cool. There you go. So these are not even all the colors. What are they talking about? Are they? Yeah, these are the OG colors. But then they have 3 others, like the slimes or whatever. I've always gotten olive green. I don't know. I wanted to get the lemon yellow for obvious reasons. But the olive green, I like the dark. But yeah, it has the most like colors, which is cool. I don't know if that's a pro. But what really makes it good is its durability. It's tough. This has been dropped. I dropped them all on concrete dozens, probably hundreds of times. And yeah, the pod will chip sometimes, and of course there's scratches all over it. The most common thing to go is the lanyard, which I think I should bring up. For all of them, but especially the nanos, they have this little latch system that you can kind of see better on the hey Muth. You can see right here, it's best on this one where the advertisement's flipping around. But you can see how there's like 2 little kind of like train track, railroad, parallel lines, whatever you want to call it. Those things crack all the time. As well as these little middle things that you see right here on the side right here. Those fall off sometimes just randomly. I don't know where they went. They just fall off. They've gone. This one has both of them. This one has both of them. Okay, so conveniently the ones around me. Also, hear that? Oh, hear that? That's what damages the chip or the pod. Something gets in there, and it's happened with 2 of them, and I'll hear it shaking around. I shake it, and then it stops. It gets lodged, but what is that? Is that technology? Is that rock? I don't know, but it messes it up. Oh, you hear? I mean that's foam. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I see it picking up on the mic. But yeah, so that happens. I don't know how. I don't know what. I'm assuming something goes off in the pod and it's damaged, and that's why it blows out the pods. Nonetheless, like I said, I can't show you the links, but they're really cheap if you don't mind waiting a month. You know what I mean? Because it's got to come over. But if you don't mind, you know, I could say this company, Fast Tech type deal. You know what I'm saying? Then you're all set. You can get, so on average, you get like 2 of them shipped for around, with the proper sales, around $40, maybe 30. The last time I got 2 for 26 shipped. I don't know how you're gonna beat that, you know. Let's see. Sorry, charging things while I'm in here as well. Let's get in this boy. Come on. All right. It's just the best one. If you're talking about weight, price, longevity, durability, availability, yada yada yada, it's the best one. And they're probably going to get rid of it because they want you to get the nanos or the new ones. However, if the mini is as good as they say, I saw no button, that would be my new joint, because it kind of looks like the problem with the sticks is they need to be shorter. They're almost double the height of the actual device. But then when you add the pod in there, so let's take off the pod. See? It's double the height, give or take. Right? But then, you gotta remember. See, sometimes, there we go. Once you put it in there, Wow, what's going on? That was weird. Look at that. That thing big. Now you're still good to go, but it's doing something. Alright. I guess that died. Probably live. But yeah, now I'm curious to that actual Mini 5. I think that's the only thing that could be better than this one. Just overall, it has everything you need. Adjustable airflow, all that. But that's my favorite. Like I said, they're all just, if you want to buy one of these, just go one by one and subjectively look at what it is. Look at the colors, the design, the box, the stick, the cube. I like boxes. Now let's get into the where are the fonts? I wonder if they don't. I wonder if they don't sell the pods here. Well, if I remember correctly, I saw it here. Here they are. So they have 2 milliliters and 3 milliliters. So what I want to tell you off the jump, unless you're doing MTL, don't get it to him. Always get the 3. So these two right here, the 1.1 and the 1.2. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, let's see how that looks for y'all. Boom. Can't zoom in too much, guys. You know about the links and all that. So the 1.0 and the 1.2 are MTLs, top filling. Cool. You think you want top filling. It's more convenient. We'll get into that. It doesn't matter. These are very tight. Out of the bunch, if you want the best, I like the 1.2 better. But they're both MTLs. They're not my style. So now we get into the juicy stuff. These are the best of the best. And of course, my bad boy is not there. I swear to you, if they get rid of my... I'm gonna lose... Alright, let's see. Please tell me it's still there. Yeah, it literally lasts like 30 days. Alright. Please do not get rid. Alright, so these are all the ones that are compatible. I am assuming... Okay, so they're just updating it at a later date, apparently. Long story short, the 0.7s are the best. The 0.7s have side fill. That is the only con about it. Oh, sorry. There you go. You can see it. There we go. Let me see. Can I get... Stop, man. Every time you zoom in. So, the 0.7 here. Like I said, I gotta hide links and all that. I'm sorry. But 0.7 mesh is my favorite. The longevity of it is great. The airflow is great. The flavor, in my opinion, is not by far. Long term, by far the best. Initially, it's in the top 2, top 3. But after a couple days, after a week, after a month. The 0.7 is what you want. It's the best by far. Now there is the 0.6, the 0.8 top filling. These are all top filling, which is definitely a huge pro for a lot of people. They prefer the top filling. If I were to rank it, the 0.8 and the 0.6 are fantastic. The 0.6 burns much faster than the 0.8, but the 0.6 probably has overall the best flavor for the first couple days out of all the pods. Then after a week, tops 2, it just goes downhill. And then eventually it starts to burn out, and every hit has kind of like weaker flavor or a burnt taste. The 0.8s have a similar kind of fate, except they last much longer. They last around 2 to 3 weeks, but then around the 2 week you can kind of feel it in it does this where flavor gone, really annoying. The 0.4s, they're okay, but they drain your battery, and I don't think the flavor is better than the 0.6 or the 0.8 to the point that it's worth that battery charge or battery discharge. The 0.6, like I said, overall that first couple days is the best flavor you can get, but after 3 days it's not better than the 0.8, and it's around the realm of 0.4 starting point after those couple days. So 0.4 is not like exceptional. I would probably put it, in it's probably the worst top filling out of the bunch. I can't think. Now, the differences from the Cortex and the OGs 8.8s and 0.6s I don't have anymore. I just have the new Cortex. I honestly think the new Cortexes are not better. We'll see with the 0.7 Cortex. I'll be very surprised to see if that one was better. But in general, I have preferred the OG ones better, at least in my head. I haven't had side-by-side comparison because they're harder to find now. And pretty much all of them are Cortex. But the issues of the coils dying, those are with the Cortex. With the OG ones, I didn't have those problems, but the longevity was still around 2 to 3 weeks for both of them. Whereas the 0.7 I've had gone for 6 weeks and been like, I don't think I need to change it. It's fine. The way you know 0.7s go is you'll feel it drop a little bit around week 3. And it will be like a recipe or something you know well. And you'll think you'll start getting vapor stone. But in reality, the pod's just going. And you change the pod and you're like, whoa. So it takes a while. It takes around 3 to 6 weeks. On average, most of them last about 3.5 weeks for me. Or I try to. Sometimes you drop them and you scrape them and you trash them. But if top filling is something you need and it requires, because you can literally just pop it off without taking it off, that's fantastic. I just want flavor and longevity. There is condensation on the lip with the rubber. Simply you have to wipe it off and then wipe the bottoms a little bit. But never any gurgling, spit back, none of that. With the top fill, sometimes you have to do the old tap, that Grim always talked about. Those I've only had to do with the Cortex 0.6 and 0.8. I've never had to do it with the OG 0.6 and 0.8, where I had to do the little shimmy to get all the excess juice out, and I've never had to do it with the 0.7. Not one time have I had any kind of spitback, gurgle, anything from a 0.7. It's kind of astonishing, especially when you compare it to the other ones where, the OG ones occasionally would do it. It would be very rare, usually at the tail end, just too much saturation, just bad luck. But the Cortexes do it, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 5 times, depending upon the coil. Some coils, they'll do it less, and then other coils, every time you fill it up, you have to do the tap, and it's really annoying. The reason why I don't buy the 0.6s and the 0.8s is just longevity. You don't get your money out of what you're paying for. Whereas the 0.7s, I mean, you can't beat 3 to 6 weeks on a pod. You can't. And you guys are like, oh, he's only using 0.25. No, I will put 1% through these coils. And if I do 1% super sweet, the 0.6 a week tops. The 0.8, 2 weeks tops. And then the 0.7 will still go around 3 weeks. So I think the 0.7 does it. I think it's this longevity is the best, the 0.7. So then it's purely up to y'all and figuring out what was it ergonomics or subjective features, price. That's just up to you at this point. And then from there, I would recommend either getting the 0.8 or a 0.7 and then trying those out, getting one box of a 0.6 or getting Xros that has a 0.6 in it and just giving it a try, and then going about your day. If you want the ones in the 1.2s, if I remember correctly, all the OG ones, they had the 1.2 or the 1.1 in there and then a 0.6 or a 0.8, something like that. So there's many ways you can try them without having to spend extra money. But yeah, the 0.7 I think is the number one. I'm not on a website. This is a figment of your imagination. I am not on a website. Everything you are watching is not real. Wink. You're late. You should know. Everyone else does. This is not a website. This is art, actually. It's interpretation. But everything that's happening right now, not real. It's all AI. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. It's all fake. Just heads up. That's why I'm over here. See? I'm up here. Are these mesh coils? Yeah, they're mesh. Most of them are mesh. I think all of them are mesh. Except for like the 1.2s, I believe. Oh, whoops, I went the wrong way. It was over here. Yeah, mesh. Yeah, the 1.2 I think is stainless. But all the rest are mesh if I remember correctly. And I put everything in there. I mean, typically fruits. But you can put desserts in there and everything. Doesn't matter. It's just, I just do fruits. What are you gonna say? And yeah, so it's just, at that point it's ergonomics. I really want to try this one out though. Just because the simple fact it has more mAh, fast charging, and it has adjustable airflow, which is what I want. And it goes with, where's my 0.7? Where's my 0.7? Is this it? I don't see this strap on the side. These are all top fill. Yeah. They better not get rid of my 0.7. I'd be so bummed. It's literally like why I like the pod. Is the 0.7. If you use the other ones, I wouldn't be too excited. So it does have a light. How the hell are you supposed to see that? Alright, mini. I want to see the colors. Auto draw, good. Hidden title LED, leak resist. I want to see the colors. There we go. Ooh, flowing green. Flowing blue. I like it. I like it. The sky. I like these ones too. Where's the guy colors? There's no red. There's no normal green. Normal blue. No dark blue. What the heck are you guys doing? I mean, it is what it is. I like that color green. Maybe not all the stuff in it. Besides that, I'd go with this crystal one. That one looks weird. Or sky blue. Sky blue looks good. I try not to do black. I try to do some individual. I'll have to get that one. Pretty tiny. Where's the... Alright, so the US one comes with the 0.8. That's it? They just give us one coil now? Are you kidding me? Wow. Getting cheap there, eh? Just one. So you mean to tell me you give me one? What if it's a dud? What if it's a dud? Now I have none. That's idiotic. And they all have one. For some reason everyone else gets the 0.6, so I would just order this from outside, which is what I always do. But why do we get the 0.8 and they get the 0.6? That's weird. I'll have to order one when money's right. And yeah, that's it. So if you want a box, I would go with the Nano 3. If you want the cube, there's only a cube. If you want a stick, I'm assuming the Xros 5 or Xros 3. Xros 3 I know is good. And that's it. The Nano, don't sleep on. If you can find the Nano, it's cheap. It's very cheap. And they're super durable. And like I said, fidget heaven. So there's many ways around it. That's what it says on their thing. I don't believe it. And all the other ones that I bought, 1 through 4, they all had 2. But, you know, this is why it helps to watch, you know, like mic vapes and stuff like that, where they bring that to the attention. Like, hey, kind of sucks. There's only one pod. And, you know, it's not the financial aspect of it. It's more the aspect of like, well, what if it's a dud? You know what I mean? What if it's a dud? Disconnected. Oh, wow. Refresh, y'all. That's that. Little short screen. And then now we'll kind of BS, I guess. Is the numbers off? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure all the numbers. Oh, guys, you guys gotta go. Oh, there's a switch. Yes, they got the 10 million. So, I don't know if you guys have been watching this stream. The fundraiser for St. Jude, but I've been watching it with my daughter. It's been amazing. It's been really fun to watch. They've gotten up to 10 million. They expected to get 1 million. I'm saying that because you don't have to donate anything. But if you guys download Staple Games, if you download them on Play Store, they have like 20 games. Each one you download gets $1. So you don't have to donate the St. Jude. You could donate $20 right now by just downloading Staple Games. So you just go to Play Store or whatever you have on the Apple, and you search Staple Games. And then you make sure it has Staple Games in it. For Android, you click on Staple Games, and then it gives you all the games that they have, and you just download. Then they have one game, super fun. I've been match collector. I've been going crazy on this. And every time you unlock certain things, you donate 5 cents as well. Long story short, they joined this venture like around like 4 or 5 million, and now they're past. I'm sure. I only watch it with my daughter, so we're watching it today. We're 2 or 3 days behind. But last I checked, they were almost at $500,000 donated just by people downloading and playing this game. So like I said, money's always tight. So if you have time, make sure to go join Staples Games and download some games. My favorite one, like I said, the match collector is the one that has the bonuses. Tile collectors like Bejeweled. Match collectors like Bejeweled, but you have a task to do. Dice Merge is fun, and then there's Blocks, which is like the famous game, and that's really fun. But their games are fun, super simple, and they've donated probably 500,000 to St. Jude, so can't go wrong. As far as your question, Muth, I do 69. I did not change my ratio to accommodate the Xros. I tried 50-50 and 60 and 70. I think around 60 to 70 is the sweet spot, and I do 69 for humor. But I'll put 80-20 and it was fine. But I think 50-50, 60-40, or 70-30 is fine. Purely up to you. I'm sure 50-50 would give me more of a throat hit, a little bit more flavor. But at the end of the day, I kind of like the hit that 60 and above gives me. 60 to 70 is my sweet spot. Even when I was doing whatever I want to do, I would still do around 70-30. I tried not all, full 90, 80, 70, 60, everything. I've even made mistakes and gone the opposite way. And I think overall for every single device, if you had to choose one to do it in every, I think 70-30 is the way to go. I would say 60 is probably second. Then I think it would go 80. And then I think 50-50. I think 50-50 is great, but a lot of times it's too harsh for people, or a lot of times it will be it will leak too much, it'll be too fluid. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. That is true. Yeah, the box ones are the best Xros. I think if we're talking about durability, I think they're the best, as well as they're just ergonomically, they just they feel better. Oh, I'm trying to be discreet. Or, hey, I'm trying to be discreet. There's many ways to. And the one thing I like about it is you're not, a lot of these, these, like the Pro and all that, they're just like cloud chuckers, and it's like, that's not what it's about, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not 2016, and yeah, I get that, but this is a 2-inch device, bro, at tops. You don't need that. This isn't a lipo, okay? You need to focus on longevity, flavor, airflow. That's it. Get out of here with clouds. You get more clouds than this one. No, I don't want that. That's partially why the 0.4s and the 0.6s suck. I think you burn too much. And I think the 0.7s, 0.8 are just a little bit more casual, that give you the perfect, whereas the 0.4s, the 0.6s, it makes me feel like I want more airflow. In general, I always feel like that. That's my biggest con with these, is they're a little bit too, if they were like Wasp Nanos, I'd be happy, but they're a little bit more, kind of mic vapey with, 2 of the 3 holes closed, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like they got a little bit more restriction to it. Nothing wrong with that, but you have to compensate your pull. If you go in this and you're chucking it, like you got fucking 1500 watt lipo, then yeah, you're gonna blow through all those coils. But if you have to compensate. I think that's like the unspoken thing, is people don't talk about that. Is like, you need to compensate how you inhale based off the airflow. Like if there's no air to inhale, you can't go in there like you're an anteater. You know what I mean? And if there's a ton of airflow, like your Goon, Nightmare, Guard, something like that, you can't just lightly pull. You know what I mean? You gotta yank that thing like you're trying to start a lawnmower. How many analogies can I make? Are they analogies? I don't even know. It doesn't even matter, really. What it is. That's that. Short stream. What am I doing next week? What is next week? Grapefruit's not next week. Is it my first purchase? I think it's my first purchase. By the way, we need to get this. I'm tired of, I don't know if it's fake people or people unsubscribing, but man, it just keeps going 68, 69, 68, 69, and I get it. Okay, 69's funny, but I would like to move on. I would like to eventually get to 700, you know. But, well, you know, that's life. Hey, that's me. Yeah, so next week is the mathin'. So next week I won't be here. I am going to family reunion in the mountains again. I'm going to be going on as many vacations as I can with my mother before, you know, in her later years. Simple fact, I want to make sure she sees life, enjoys life. She's always been a stay-at-home mom. She's always worked her ass off for me and my brother. So I think she deserves to sit on her ass and look at mountains or horses or rivers or whatever she wants. So I'm doing that, and then October I'm gonna be gone. But in the future there probably, or maybe, I don't know, will be a time change for one show or both show. I don't know, we'll see. I'll let you guys know when I know, but I don't know. But yeah, that will be next week. So next week I will be evaporated, and then what's next month? August? Yeah, August 9th I will do the first purchase. And the first purchase will be, you know, I think I'll do BCF. Yeah, so that will be in 2 weeks. Yeah, it's gonna be great, Moth. It's a family reunion, and we've already been to this Airbnb, which overlooks the Appalachians. Like literally, you just see mountain within mountain within mountain. And then I looked it up on Google Maps because I was like, what is back there? And you just look back, and there's nothing. No roads. You look at the road that's adjacent to the house or near the house, right? And it just makes a left right at that mountain. And you're like, holy crap, there is nothing has intruded upon this land that I'm looking at. The only thing that's there is what are they? They're a gravel company. But they haven't messed with the mountains. That's the thing about West Virginia. You mess with those, good luck messing with those mountains. As soon they tried to put a data center up there and it failed already. People are so pissed. I hope they don't build it, because, you know, West Virginia is a little bit different. Other states go through, laws and, you know, government and all that. If people don't like something in West Virginia, it will be gone. It will be gone. I'm not going to say how it's going to be gone, but I bet you it will be gone. And so I hope they don't open those data centers. They're trying to do it up here too, but here they'll do it. Virginia doesn't care. It's got space and it likes money. But West Virginia, it's got space and it doesn't give a damn about money. It wants its space, and hopefully they never mess with this area. So we're going back to the same place we've been. It's a family reunion, but she loved it. She loved it there. We're going to have fire pit, s'mores. It's going to be a good time. I'll make some spaghetti and maybe some steak. And then October, my daughter and her, they were talking about horses, and they're like, you know what would be cool? They weren't even talking to me. They would be like, it would be cool to like stay at a horse farm or live at a horse farm. And so I found one for them. For pods, it depends. You just need a good pod device. That's the common problem, is people have terrible pods. But if you have like Xros, Caliburn, it's not that hard to mix for it, you know. the ratio, like VGPG, is the most important, which if you do 50-50 all the way up to 70-30, you're fine. And then percentage wise, you don't have to like take a flavor that's like 2 or 3% and push it up to 4 or 5. If your flavor is like 2 to 3, do 2.5. And then don't layer your recipes so much. That's why dessert recipes don't do as well in pods. You kind of just want, because your palate can't decipher that much within that little amount of vapor. So it's more about condensing the flavor into one entire flavor. So if you're doing a strawberry, you're going to need probably 2 strawberries, maybe 3. And you're going to want to do like a strawberry kiwi banana. You're not going to want to do a strawberry coconut lime Tahiti vanilla, like some intricate. You want to kind of make somewhat simple 3 to 4 flavors in the mix. You know, like I just did, what I'm doing right now is limes, lemons, dragon fruit, strawberry. That's it. And then you just got to kind of find the right percentage. But you don't have to go like, you don't have to put 30% in. With the Caliburns and the Xros, you don't have to do that. Now, if you have something from like 2016, yeah. But the Xros and the Caliburns are essentially sub-ohms at this point. You know, they're essentially like 2020 sub-ohms. Like their mesh is the best way to pod in sub-ohm right now. And unless they make some kind of advancement in that, I don't think we'll ever get better. So it's you don't have to do what you did in back in the day. Pretty much all the recipes I released I've used in pods. So and I don't mix anything like abnormal. I haven't changed anything that I did prior to using pods. Sweetener also matters. If you're used to disposables, I would get Neotame or Neotame, whatever you call it. Capella calls it extra super sweet or extra sweet. If you want to kind of minimize your sweetener, just get super sweet at 1% and work your way down. Sweetness is a tolerance thing. It's kind of like ice. So you get used to it and then you can keep adding more. So it's best to kind of keep it low. That way you don't kind of numb your palate and get used to it. But yeah, subscribe, Mohammed. The pinned comment, we have Facebook, Discord. Go in there and post a comment of ideas you like, and I'll take them into use. I'm down. It's a viewer. I'm only doing what the viewers want to see. The grapefruit is kind of my thing, but you get what I'm saying. So feel free to always ask. Yeah. Oh yeah, but they were saying they wanted to go to horses. They wanted to see horses and stuff, and I was like, you know, because when we've gone to West Virginia a couple times, we've done horse, you know, mountain trails, yada yada. And she's starting to get bigger, so I'm almost to the point where I trust her going alone, you know. And I found this Airbnb where it's literally on a horse farm. Literally on a horse farm. I asked the host, I was like, y'all got a lot of horses? Is it a lot of horses? Because I saw a review or something where it said 2 horses, and they were laughing. No, you'll see horses. I was like, okay, good. And yeah, so we'll do maybe a trail ride. My mom can't do none of that, but she likes to see. Some people like to experience. My mom's perfectly fine with, you know, alright, you know, I'll watch y'all punching. You know what I mean? Of course, Mom. Feel free to stick around. Always ask questions, man. You're more than welcome. But yeah, I'm super excited for that. So next week will be the family reunion. And then October will be that horse farm. And I don't have to call off work for either of them, technically. I think the stigma of people having to mix for pods differently really goes to old pods being obsolete. I think, like I said, if you have the Xros, if you have the Caliburn, if you have the Yeehee, I haven't tried the new DNA Lost Vapes, but probably if you have those, you don't have to mix anything differently. Mix normal, adjust your VGPG until you're happy. So start at 730, make small batches, just to fill up the pod, let it steep enough to where you're happy to, kind of test out a day with it. Do 70-30 first, then do 60-40, then do 50-50. What I did is I did each of those all at once and tried them throughout. I wasted 3 pods, of course, but I got the information I needed. And then the flavoring percentages, I'm not going to say don't, but just, if you're at 10, turn it up to 11. Turn it up to 11. 11. Turn it up to 11. And then you're fine. You don't have to turn it up to 30. That's if you were doing a Nord in 2016, you know what I mean? I bet you the new Nords hit, because back in like 2019, the Nords, bro. Nords. Oh yeah, Geek Vape. Geek Vape, I totally forgot about that. Geek Vape has another that you won't have to, like, the main thing is that ratio, the VGPG, and then sweetener. Both are easily adjustable, easily tested. The flavors, like I said, just turn it up. Not 1%. When I say turn it 10 to 11, that's not 1%. I'm saying if it's 2, 215, 225, you don't have to go crazy. You got to remember, just because you want more out of this flavor and you're using it in a more condensed device does not mean the flavor off notes at higher percentages are just going to disappear. They're still going to be there. So if a flavor is good at 2% say flora, and then you put it up to 4% and you get green peppers, it doesn't matter that it's in the pod. You need to do 2%. That's the maximum you can do of that flavor. And that's why single flavor testing is important, because when you're making a pod recipe, you know what, guys? I'm going to take TPA pineapple and do 4%. What are you doing? No. You still need to do 1% TFA pineapple and then work your way there. I'm pretty sure TFA pineapple is a good example. A better example would be rich cinnamon, flora. People have to dilute it, okay? Just because you're putting it in a pod doesn't mean you can finally use that 0.5, pumpkin spice, 1.25 is the max. You throw it in a pod at 1.5, you're still going to get that over spice note. It's not the percentage, guys. I think that's a misconception. It sometimes is. Back in the day it is. Now it's not. Now you just have to find flavors that work well, that have good body, good density, good flavor. In single flavor tests, take that flavor, push it literally to not its max, but its max normal volume. Anywhere pineapple 2 to 4%, but of course you could do 8%. No, just do 2 to 4%. If you don't like it, you could move up, but I wouldn't recommend that. If you were using Inware pineapple and you wanted more pineapple and you pushed it all the way to 5% and you're kind of, plateauing the flavor there, I would recommend bringing in a second pineapple and just building. Now, when you bring that second pineapple, say, high, that's a 2% pineapple, right? You're not going to bring in 2% pineapple. You just need to bring in 1.5. You just need to give it a little It's all about working. And then once you learn your palate, you don't think about this. You just kind of do it. And that's why single flavor testing is dire. Because if you don't do the single flavor test, or you don't make small batch recipes where you're testing the flavors with other flavors, to see how they do, it's going to be hard and you're going to fail a lot. And you're going to be like, what am I doing wrong? But if you do the work, doesn't matter who you are, it becomes second nature. It becomes just easier. You also get rid of all the flavors that suck, For the pods, you know, I like them cold, but when I'm using a mod, I like mechs. I don't know. When I'm using a big device, I want it to punch me in the face. When I'm using these pods, I want it to just get the job done. I used to be that way, but kind of like my shoes, I just wear them until they break. And so I just go through binges. Like I bet you maybe in 3 years I won't even ever look at an Xros, and I'll just be doing RTAs. And I'll go through an RTA binge for a year, and then I'll be back at squonks. You know? I just, the main thing I think people, you know, a lot of people are exploring, I need to get this, I need to get this, I need to get this, I want to try, I'm more like, I like this. Let me get 2 more of it, and I'm just going to use that until it dies or I die. And usually it dies. Only twice I've died, but you know, like Sam, like he bought like, what was it, 12 of those snow wolves with the actual snow wolf on the side, I think, or I think it was Sigeli's, something like that. He bought like 10 of them because they were like $4 or something stupid, and he used each of them back to back to back to back until each of them broke. I mean, that's kind of how you have to go. Look at that. I need to get a haircut. Hey guys, welcome to my stream. I'm a beautiful girl. New little bow or something. Just, hey guys. Yeah, I've already done it too. I mean, if I had to pick, and you're like, hey, you can only use one forever. Squonk. All day squonk. Squonk. Forever. I do Squonk, RDA. I do, and if you gave me one, I do RDA for vaping V2. And if it wouldn't break, Snowcap. But Snowcaps break. It's, you know, 3D printed. And if I did an RTA, my favorite RTA, which you can't find now, vaping with Vicks Kelpie, was, it took a while to get the hang of it, like figure out the placement and all that. Once I got it, man, that thing was beautiful and super quick to rewick. It was fantastic. My problem is I put things down and then I'm like, that's dirty. And then I just chuck it or I clean it and then forget about it. It is what it is. It's kind of funny though. I was expecting the stream to do not that good, but I'm so, you know, because it's not flavor orientated. So I'm kind of happy it did all right. I think in the future, like Muhammad said, we'll try to explore the pod and recipes and just in general. I think that, you know, there is other people that are working on stuff like that. I don't know when they'll do it or what they're gonna do, you know, kind of thing, but I think working on recipe, not development in the essence of creating one recipe, but just the ideology and like philosophy behind it to achieve what you want, versus like, hey, I need to make a chocolate banana cobbler, let's make that, you know, like, no knock to that, but I think a lot of people do that. I think more about recipe development, philosophy, methods, you know, just techniques and stuff like that, and tricks needs to be more implemented and like showcase more. I think the problem is people just talk about one dimension, and everyone does it. It's not knocked to anyone, but everyone's like, oh, I want to make this, let's do it. And then they talk about developing that one specific recipe. I'm talking about specifically developing recipes, what you want to develop and stuff like that. I think that's, you know, flavors are one side of it. I think learning your palate is the second side. And then I think the third is learning how to put your palette into effect through recipes. Once you know your palette, it's a wrap. You just gotta learn the flavors. The Kelpie was so good. The RDA and the RTA were good. I love the RDA. Once you got the coil placement down, it just encaps that coil completely with air. And you got so much flavor out of it. I mean, it was almost a 360-degree airflow. Like, it was crazy. Yeah, the nitrous 23, you won't have to. Nitrous, you know, I think RDA is starting around like 2020. Like, you can't get better. There's no advancements that we can make. We have found it, and the companies have done such a fantastic job that pretty much every new RDA is subjectively good. It just, most people, how I look at it, I just look at the deck and the airflow second, and then that's it. You know, and most of the decks are almost foolproof now. You know, you don't have any kind of crazy bonza situations where it's like, dang, this is where do I put whip? You know, it's become a lot easier. Whereas the older stuff, you know, I wasn't a big fan of the Geek Base. Don't hate me. I preferred the Caliburn and the Xros. The problem with the Caliburns is I didn't like the draw. It was too tight. But we'll end soon. So as I said, watermelon's coming up. Look at Sam. Sam's smiling, and then Linda's worried he's gonna eat the whole damn watermelon. It's selfish of you, Sam. You need to share the watermelon. Okay? And look at me. Just thinking about not watermelons. Thinking about empanadas and tortas. And that's coming up Wednesday. Don't forget to join. Dang, this is nice. And then, like I said, next week I'll be closed, and then I'll come back with the first purchase, which I think is a super important episode. By the way, I was trying to get Tom from MySpace kind of look, you know, kind of thing, but it just, the AI wouldn't do it. And then we will do grapefruit. And then I don't know. You guys gotta let me know what to do, so make sure to post your comments and all of that. But anyways, that's it, guys. You're super on time, Kitty. Everyone have a good day. I'll see you in 2 weeks for first purchase, and then I will try to get the next episodes going. I'll see y'all later, folks. Have a good weekend and enjoy your day.
My killers will not take no for an answer. My fucking employees will not hang up the phone until their
Let me
client
pray a
either
proper
dies
song.
or fucking
I know my money, my money, my money. What's this one? Maybe the rain? I like rain. Y'all have a great day, y'all. Stay safe. Thanks for watching, by the way. Bye, y'all.